Hey, this is Chris Menard. I've got a special treat for you today. I'm at the beautiful Peabody Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee, and joining me is the Duckmaster, Kenon Walker.
Hey there, hello everybody.
So here's some questions you may want to know. So Kenon, I noticed when you marched the ducks down, there were 4. Is there always 4?
No, usually I have 5. I usually have 1 male and 4 females.
Okay.
Now, the only reason that I have 4 right now is, well, keep in mind, to everybody watching, that we switch the ducks out every 3 months because we do release them back to the wild. And then I get a brand new team of ducks that start training from scratch all over again. So for this particular group, I had 5 ducks, but I had a smaller female that was in this group. Now, the dominant female in this group kind of kept picking on her.
Right.
You know what I mean? Pulling the feathers out. Then after a while, since they're close to, this is actually the last week before I get the new team in on Wednesday.
Okay.
So we just separated that last one, March the 4 until we get the new team in.
Got it. So you get the new team in. How long does it take to train them?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. It depends on the team. I've had some teams that have gotten it immediately, and some of them not so quickly.
Okay.
But I must say, on average, per team, about a month.
Okay.
Keep in mind, I start up here on the rooftop. The Ducks do have a $200,000 duck palace up here on the rooftop of the Peabody Hotel. So what I do is, the first thing I do is I form a bond with them. Because, of course, when the new ducks get here, they're scared. They don't know what's going on. So I'll spend the first day or so just kind of talking to them, just spending time inside the duck palace with them. And keep in mind, that's the only time that I will have 2 teams of ducks inside the hotel at the same time.
Okay, all right.
So I have my veteran team inside the duck palace with the rookie team with like a little fence separating them.
Okay.
So that way I can continue to march the veterans while I'm training the rookies.
Got it.
But then after about two or 3 days, once the ducks start warming up to me, I teach them how to march from the duck palace all the way across the rooftop into the hotel and into that elevator. So I'm about to go back and forth 2 or 3 times in a day, stop for that day. Do the same thing the next day, stop.
Okay.
And then that magical day happens. Eventually, when I open up the doors to the duck palace and the ducks are gonna start leading me all the way into the elevator. Then once we get to that point, we start taking them downstairs to march them into the lobby. But keep in mind, those first marches of a new team are their first marches. There are no pretend marches prior to that. So when I say any and everything happens during that first week, I do mean any and everything. I've had to chase the ducks into the gift shop. I've had to take the t-shirts behind
So
the
there's
car.
no test run?
No test
There's
run.
no test, okay.
No, so I always make an announcement prior to those marches to let the crowd know these are DIT, the ducks in training.
Okay.
But after about a month or so, they seem to get the process down.
What kind of ducks are those?
These are North American mallards.
All right.
Okay, 1 drake and 4 hens, or 1 male and 4 females.
Okay, very good. Does the duck march happen every day?
Every single day, twice a day, every day. Now, technically, it's advertised at 11 a.m. for the morning march and 5 p.m. for the evening march. But really, you want to be here no later than 10:30 for the morning march or 4:30 for the evening march. The reason being, I'm rolling out the red carpet at 4:30 for the evening and 10:30 for the morning. And I actually start the morning ceremony at 10:45. I come up here to get the ducks to march them into the lobby by 11 o'clock. So technically, if you were to come at 11 o'clock, you would be catching the tail end of the ceremony.
Yeah.
So if you were to get here 10:45 for the morning and 4:45 for the evening, those would be the perfect time to catch the duck marches. Now, I'm here Wednesday through Sunday. I do have an assistant duckmaster, a young lady named Brittany, who is technically the first female duckmaster in history.
Oh, very good. So how long have you been with the Peabody Hotel?
I've been with the Peabody Hotel since October of 2018.
Okay, and I'm going to assume, tell me if I'm wrong, that you did not come here to be the Duckmaster. Am I right?
You would be correct. You would be correct. It definitely was not on the list of aspirations as a kid. I'm saying, yeah,
Right.
a lawyer or a duckmaster.
Okay.
It's never on the list. But I'll be honest with you, it was. I feel blessed to be in the position because I did not come here to do this. Originally, I came to work as a concierge in the lobby. That's it again, October 2018. At that time, there was a duckmaster named Anthony, who was a younger gentleman, and there was an assistant duckmaster named Doug Weatherford. He was an older gentleman, but he was also the hotel historian. Now, prior to this, I used to work at the National Civil Rights Museum for 6.5 years as a tour guide, the Stax Museum of American Soul Music for 4.5 years, and then I've also been an educator and actor, artist, pretty much.
Very good.
Okay. So I guess my path kind of led me to, being seasoned enough to step into the position. But 3 months after I started, Anthony retired. Doug became the lead duck master. Now keep in mind that Doug and I would have conversations in the lobby.
Okay.
We both fellows on the days when he would march the ducks. So when he became the duck master, he approached me one day. He said, "Kenon," he said, "I've been watching you." I said, "Why?"
Oh, you feel like you're in trouble, right?
Right. Why are you watching me, man? He said, "No, I really think you have what it takes in all areas to be successful, being a duck master." I said, "You want to try it?" I'll be honest with you. I said, "No."
Okay.
The only reason I said no was because I had just recently been promoted from the lobby concierge to being the private club store concierge.
Right.
This is only 1 week prior to him asking me. So I had my own lounge, I had an open bar, I had hot hors d'oeuvres, and I was hosting a happy hour for the club store guests from 5 to 7, and it was just me up there.
So you're bringing them off to the hotel at this point right now, right?
Right.
You okay?
Absolutely. But when I told him no, he looked at me and said, "Really, really think about this. Think about it." But make a long story short, I said no 3 times. He asked me 7 times. So I said, "Well, man, you see something I'm not seeing.
Right.
Like, you're adamant about this." So I'll be honest with you, I prayed about it that night. I woke up the next day and had a complete sense of peace about trying it out. And that was February 23rd of 2019. That's when I became
Oh, wow.
the assistant duck master.
Okay.
And then at the very beginning of 2020, Doug retired. And then I became the duck master. And now Brittany is the assistant duck master. So I guess I share all the details of that story, not only to answer your question,
Right.
but to, kind of, in my opinion, kind of detail that, sometimes we're standing in our own way in life. We don't even
Right.
know.
Okay.
Like I literally tried to block my blessing 3 times. But apparently this wasn't my plan, it was God's plan. So I cherish every single day that I'm here as a duck master, every conversation, every encounter, every time I can make a kid smile.
Very good.
Because it wasn't my plan, it was his.
So we saw you march the ducks down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you go and march them back up again at what time again?
This evening. This evening. At 4:45 to start the ceremony, and march them back out at 5 o'clock.
Do those ducks stay in that fountain the whole time? Because I've been thinking about this, like, what if the duck just decides to go into one of the shops?
Right. Now I will say when I have a new group that I start taking down into the lobby,
Right.
during that first week or so, oh yeah, they'll be all over the lobby.
Okay.
Now, of course, I try to remain a constant presence, what I'm saying,
Right.
inside of the lobby, so they know I'm coming to get you. I'm gonna put you back in the fountain. So after a while, they just become accustomed to being inside of the fountain, and they'll stay inside there. But every now and then, you will get one rogue duck, one duck that just likes to do whatever she likes to do. You know what I mean? But as long as the ducks don't get hurt, that's my main thing. But after about the first couple of weeks of marching into the lobby, they tend to stay inside the fountain.
Okay. I saw that after you had them in the fountain this morning, you fed them.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
When did they eat again?
They'll eat again this afternoon at 3.
Okay.
Right. Keep in mind, I fed them prior to that feeding that you saw.
Right.
First thing I do is I come to the duck palace in the morning prior to the duck march, and I give the ducks a pep talk. Step to the
Do they listen?
They do listen. They do listen. But also I feed them romaine lettuce in the mornings. You know what I mean? Something kind of light. Get them, what I'm saying, get them riled up and get them ready for the march. Once I get them downstairs at 11, it's like a crack corn and a seed mixture that I feed them. Man, keep in mind, I'm very strategic about what I feed them at what time, because with the cracked corn and the seed mixture, there's nothing that's heavy enough to leave any solids downstairs.
Got it. Okay.
We don't want to mess in the lobby. We don't want anything unappetizing to happen in the lobby because the food is being served. But I feed them twice down there, once at 11, once at 3, and then once they get back up here, I already have dinner waiting for them inside the duck palace.
Oh, very good.
So it's like a poultry feed, like an oyster shell, and a chick grit kind of aids with digestion. So that's where the mess comes in. And then that's how my morning starts. It's cleaning out that duck palace. So it's not all glamorous.
Okay. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. I appreciate
We
it.
appreciate what you're doing here at the Peabody. It's my first time here. My wife's with me. We love it. When we were coming to Memphis, friends of mine said, you got to stay at the Peabody. Her friends told her the same thing, so we ended up at the Peabody. We love it.
And well, please tell your friends, and we said thank you. And we can't wait to meet them in person as well.
All right. Is there any way people, if they have questions about the ducks, can reach you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you go to the PeabodyMemphis.com on this is the Peabody website, you can always submit questions there for me. If you go to the Peabody's Facebook page, it's a very, very good way to get in touch with me or to post questions. And of course, you can submit letters, comments and letters through, like I said, not only the Peabody website, the Peabody Facebook page, and also the Peabody Instagram page, which would be Peabody Memphis.
Very good. I'm Chris Menard. I appreciate your time. Mr. Kenon Walker, Duckmaster at the Peabody Hotel. Thank you so much.